everyone, and welcome to another episode of Waynesboro at Work. I'm your host, Brooke Anderson, and this is a podcast where we talk to entrepreneurs and business leaders that are doing great things in Waynesboro, Virginia. We learn a little bit about the origin stories of what they're doing, where their passion comes from for their work, and a little bit of everything in between. And today I'm really excited to be joined by not one, but two guests from Blue Ridge Community College. I have with me today Dan O'Brien, who is the cybersecurity instructor at Blue Ridge Community College. And we're also thrilled to be joined by Dean Marlena Jarbo of Blue Ridge Community College. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for taking the time to have us here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So I am really excited to talk about cybersecurity with you all because it seems like such a relevant topic in these technological times that we live in. So to get us started, for people that might not really know what cybersecurity is, tell us a little bit more about that, and then what is going on at Blue Ridge Community College with the Cybersecurity Apprenticeship program. Who'd like to start us off?
I can go ahead and start with the definition, then maybe Dean Jarbo would like to follow up, because we have a large offering of cybersecurity courses at the college, several different programs. What we try to do with our students in cybersecurity is prepare them for jobs protecting businesses, municipalities, and the federal government from hackers. Basically, we see in the news all the time about a city such as Baltimore that got completely shut down because of hackers that came in and basically hid and encrypted all of their files. We hear about hospital systems, and we just heard about the big Microsoft hack. So we try to prepare our students for all these different types of eventualities so that they can go out and help protect Virginia businesses and maybe local and state governments from these sort of hacks.
Right. Very, very important work. Like you said, it can be devastating to municipalities and the healthcare system, so on and so forth. So you guys have some really exciting things happening around cybersecurity at Blue Ridge Community College. So Dean Jarbo, would you like to explain to us what is happening there?
Sure. We're really excited because our cybersecurity offerings have been expanding over the last several years. A lot of that thanks to Mr. O'Brien. So we're very grateful for him. In terms of credit programs, we have several associate degrees and career study certificates, such as secure computer networking, and under information systems technology, we have a cybersecurity specialization as well as a career study certificate. So the career study certificates are usually completed in 1 or 2 semesters, depending on if a student wants to go full-time or part-time. And of course, the associate degrees can be completed in as little as 2 years or a little bit longer if students need to go part-time. Now, the apprenticeship program that Mr. O'Brien started is actually a combination of both the credit and the non-credit side. And the non-credit side of the house has training, and then they offer workforce credentials such as Network Plus and Security Plus. So Mr. O'Brien can tell you a lot more about that.
Right. And so the apprenticeship program is really kind of a unique offering that you're doing. And there are a lot of different types of people that can take advantage of that. So Dan, will you kind of explain more about who is taking advantage of the program and exactly what they do within that program?
Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited about the new program here in apprenticeship and cybersecurity. Dean Jarbo and Vice President of the college, Dr. Bob Young, received a grant about 2.5 years ago from Growth and Opportunity Virginia. They hired me, and we had a very successful program taking a lot of people who maybe had a 2-year degree from Blue Ridge or were complete career changers
Okay.
that wanted to get into a new field. And what we've done is we've taken that 2.5 years of experience that we gained in training these folks, helping them get jobs, and we've codified it into an actual apprenticeship system. So we are working very closely with a company by the name of Aption Incorporated, and their liaison, Debbie Hopkins, has been instrumental in helping us get a registered apprenticeship program uh, approved by the state of Virginia.
Okay.
So the students that come through our program will have the necessary training that the state requires for them to have the opportunity to apply for paid apprenticeships that will help them in their cybersecurity careers. One of the biggest problems we have, unfortunately, is even though we have well-trained students, smart, clear thinking, logical folks, they start to apply for a job and they say, where's that year of experience on your resume?
Right.
And we're really hoping that that apprenticeship can bridge the gap while they get paid and while they might continue their education and help them further their careers.
And how long does that apprenticeship last?
That's a great question. With the initial approval by the state last month, they would like us to perform 150 hours of training that all takes place at the college. Of course, it is still virtual. At some point, we're hoping it'll be both in person and virtual. And then once they start working for business doing the apprenticeship, there will be 1,000 hours of targeted apprenticeship cybersecurity work that the company has to agree to in advance with the state to say the student will be performing these 8 job duties over the course of the 1,000 hours. It usually lasts about a year, but if the student, say, works overtime, they might finish faster. If they work part-time, it might take them a little longer. So all in all, we're looking at about a year to 18 months.
Okay. So if you are even a recent high school graduate, or you want to change fields pretty much at any age, this could be a path forward for you, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And if I may add in just my own personal story, my
Sure.
son just turned 18 yesterday, has completed his senior year early, and he has signed up to complete the IT Google certificate, which is part of the apprenticeship pathway, and is starting to complete that work actually as we speak right now. And he has applied for the apprenticeship program through our website. On our homepage, you just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see Cybersecurity Apprenticeship. And he also plans to enroll in the associate degree, Information Systems Technology degree, cybersecurity specialization in the fall. So we're really excited about all the opportunities that Blue Ridge has to offer.
Right. That's a great example of how, a younger student could take advantage of this program. And like you had mentioned, Dan, there are a few ways that you can go about this through the non-credit courses or the associates, so whatever your situation is, it sounds like Blue Ridge is ready to kind of listen to your needs and figure out the right path forward for you in cybersecurity.
That's absolutely correct. We've had folks from all walks of life, and you can take someone with just knowledge that they've gained from being curious about IT up to people with bachelor's, and we've had folks with master's degrees as well who haven't had the hands-on experience that we offer here at the college. We do cutting edge laboratory work. We do job training, which is actually kind of difficult to find these days, someone that's willing to sit down and get you ready to start a job on day one. Let me tell you really quickly about Jay. He and his wife own a business in Harrisonburg, and Jay worked with Marlena a couple of years ago, and he said, listen, I can't find people to help me fix my computers. So he decided to take some college courses. And then Dean Jarboe said, we have this new cybersecurity program going. Well, guess what? Jay scored one of the top scores on the national test for Security Plus. And he just let me know last month that after less than 2 years, he is going for his advanced cybersecurity certification, which is something you don't typically see till someone gets 5 or 6 years of experience and typically a degree. And so we are very excited to get people that are genuinely interested in information technology, and then we can provide that pathway into great careers.
Right, right. That's another great success story there. So, cybersecurity, it tends to sort of get lumped into one category, but there are a lot of different ways that you can use your cybersecurity credentials. So, what are some of the ways that students are able to use these and like industries they're able to work in once they get trained?
Would you like to take that one, Marlena?
It's okay. You can go ahead and take that one.
Okay, great. That's a wonderful question. Here in Virginia, we have thousands of businesses that do work with the federal government. And a lot of them are Defense Department contractors. They're doing very important work to keep our country safe. And what the Department of Defense has been doing is requiring these businesses to be cyber secure, and they need to prove it. So one thing we've been very happy to have happen is a company from Northern Virginia by the name of Tiber Creek Consulting. They opened an office in Waynesboro, Virginia, thanks to the city who were kind enough to basically loan us an entire building and high-speed internet during our program. And they've hired 10 of our students to do these cybersecurity assessments for businesses.
Mm.
And they work very diligently to keep Virginia safe. And what one of the job duties, for example, is to sit down with a company and say, okay, we have this list of 150 cybersecurity items. We're going to go over them with you one by one. And we're going to talk about things like, have you figured out how often you change your passwords? Because that's very important. Do you regularly engage your employees in doing practice tests for spam emails? We all know about spam emails and texts and phone calls as well. And so they're very successful at getting these companies up to speed. And then we've had some other students who had a little bit of more background in IT that actually work with companies to configure their systems to be cyber secure. We hear about these hacks all the time. They actually help these companies prevent the hackers from getting in the first place.
So Dan, you mentioned something that I think is really important to point out, which is how important the work of cybersecurity is. I kind of think of people that work in cybersecurity almost as unsung heroes, because if they're doing their job well, we never hear about the things that they prevent from happening. And I know that healthcare is one that comes to mind. So can you speak a little bit more to the ways that people can kind of pick and choose what industry they want to work within in terms of cybersecurity and why those choices are so important?
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. One thing we've learned over the past couple of years with these programs we have is we try to maximize the student's background. And especially in places like the financial sector and healthcare, we've had a number of students with healthcare backgrounds that have decided they really like IT and cybersecurity. And there's a huge demand these days, especially in hospital environments, medical facilities, research facilities. And those sort of jobs require someone with a healthcare background just to walk in the door. So we've had good success with career changers that are looking to stay within the kind of job that they have, but really increase their knowledge with cybersecurity. Absolutely.
Right. And that's a wonderful aspect of this, is that you can be flexible in terms of what industry you want to go in. So it's, you can be interested in cybersecurity and healthcare and find a place for yourself. So I think that's really great. So tell me a little bit more about why Waynesboro is kind of one of the hubs for this apprenticeship program. And then I think also Harrisonburg is one as well. So why those two locations?
I can take that one if
Okay.
that's okay. So when we applied for the Go Virginia grant a few years ago, one of the requirements of the grant was to have at least two localities in our service region that would be willing to partner with us in the Go Virginia grant. And both Harrisonburg City and the city of Waynesboro each donated $25,000 to our Go Virginia grant. And so that helped with some of those expenses. It helped with, purchasing books and helping to pay for salaries and things like that. And then Waynesboro also threw in a building, which was for $54,000. And so we were really, really excited about that. And I think what a blessing for our community that Tiber Creek was willing to, open up a new part of their company in Waynesboro. And we're just so excited to have them. So that's how those two localities became involved.
Nice. Yeah, that is quite an investment, but one that is certainly paying off for sure. Now, we talked a little bit about the expenses that were donated and through the grant, but for people listening that are interested in accessing this cybersecurity apprenticeship program, what can they expect in terms of cost to do this?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. First of all, anyone interested can go straight to our website, brcc.edu. We're right on the front page, Cybersecurity Apprenticeship. And you can also search for cyber. And we have a new email address, cyber@brcc.edu, which comes straight to us and we can answer any questions. So what people can expect, the apprenticeship itself, we're very fortunate this year in 2021, almost everyone will have their tuition paid by the state. So first of all, the actual large portion of the training, the Security Plus and the apprenticeship training portion, is covered by a grant called Fast Forward Virginia. And all people have to do to qualify for that is to have lived in the state of Virginia for the past year. Okay. And we also have extra funding this year for people that have been adversely impacted in their employment by COVID, and also people who are making below 400% of the federal poverty income, which translates to under $103,000 a year for a family of four. So as you can see, it's a great program people can get into, low cost. There's a technology fee. There's a little bit of money, about $100 is all, and then the rest of it should be covered by the state. And we're hoping to keep that funded as we go forward, so folks can get this sort of education at a very low cost.
Wow. And so that you brought up another important group that we haven't mentioned yet, which are people that have maybe had a disruption in employment due to COVID, during this last year of the pandemic. And the fact that you can enter something like this and have it be so cost effective, if not free, that's pretty amazing. So, getting this sort of education, what can people expect when they're done with the apprenticeship and they're entering into full-time employment? What sort of salaries are we kind of looking at as starters? Do you have sort of an estimate of that?
Yeah, we have a couple of good data points for you. First of all, the folks that have started working with Tiber Creek Consulting in Waynesboro, the entry-level jobs run somewhere in the upper 40s to lower $50,000 a year, but they also include the benefits that someone would typically get working for a company in Northern Virginia. They're very competitive. After just a few years on the job, they get 30 days of PTO, paid time off. They get all their education paid for. If they want to go back to college, the company covers it. They get profit sharing and all of their healthcare premiums taken care of.
Wow.
We have people that are already in just a year and a half on the job making close to $100,000 a year, mainly because a lot of this work can be done remotely. So once that person gets the year of apprenticeship under their belt, they want to apply for a job somewhere in Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland, New York, Los Angeles. They can still work at home, or maybe they could work in one of the hub areas with the high-speed internet working and nice offices. One of the beauties of Waynesboro that I appreciate is, number one, real-time access to high-speed networking, which is super important. You have to have good computer speed to do these jobs. And second of all, if a person wants to work in DC, they can go right over the mountain to the train and maybe once a week or two go to a meeting in DC or Maryland and then work at home. Wait a minute. I did that for years working with the federal government. And it was awesome just to be able to go right over the mountain and hop on the train for the day. And then the rest of the time I got to work at home.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sitting here as you're talking and I'm trying to find any sort of challenges with this. And this seems like really such a win-win for everybody in terms of the experience you gain, which is so relevant and in an industry that is only going to grow and become more and more important, from the how cost effective it is for the students. It's the time investment is reasonable. You're getting paid to do an apprenticeship, and then from there it's sort of sky's the limit. So for anybody listening, if cybersecurity is at all interesting to you, this could be a really great way to change careers or start a career even. So in terms of what makes a successful cybersecurity apprentice, I know that there are the technical aspects, and I know that you've given us some good examples of success stories, but what are the characteristics that somebody interested in this really needs to have?
Great. We've had some wonderful experiences with graduates of our program, and we work very closely with businesses to get their input. And what we find is, as long as people have a real interest in information technology, that there's a lot they can do once they get our training finished. Some of the other things that businesses look for, we hear over and over again, they want people that can think logically, that can troubleshoot. We always have requests for what we call soft skills. In other words, students should really know how to use Microsoft Office or Google Docs. They are always having to write in Word or maybe doing a spreadsheet in Excel or some sort of presentation. And then we also have requests for people that have good communication skills. They can sit and talk with the clients, that they can write emails to the people that they're working with. And then, once again, the industry recognized certification that we teach, Security Plus, that is one of the most desirable certifications in information technology today. So that really helps to have that certification. And we have had great success with people passing the exam, 85% during the first try and almost 100% of total people passed. Sometimes some people have to take it a second time.
Right. Great. Well, that's good insight into what it takes, because like you said, it goes beyond just the technical aptitude. There are other like soft skills that you need to have and so on and so forth. So I know that this is a new program. What are some of the major milestones that you feel like you've achieved along the way so far?
Well, finishing up the 2.5-year grant was very instructive to us as trainers and as an educational institution, where we learned that the great success stories came from people with 2-year degrees who needed that hands-on experience. Okay. But we also had wonderful success with people with no degrees and no formal training. So that was a real boon to us to say, we've reached the point where we feel confident that if someone says, listen, I'm a career changer, I'm tired of working at a job where I can't use my mind. Let me talk about Kelly really quickly. Kelly had a job for years. He's close to my age. And he finally said, listen, I need to use my brain more. So he went and got a degree in information technology, but like many graduates, didn't have the hands-on experience. Well, we just found out the other day that Kelly is now a liaison with a federal government agency that I can't really name. And he's doing very well. And he credits a lot of his success to his, natural abilities. We do talk about things like basic mathematics and logical thinking, and also the certification and the job training he learned.
Right, right. So another great success story. So how many graduates have you had so far in the program?
With the program so far, we had 65 graduates.
Wow.
And many of them went on to get either new jobs or better positions. They may have been someone working at, say, a help desk, and they are now, the camera, I'll restart that real quick.
Okay.
And they are now, for example, they have a cybersecurity component added to their job. Oftentimes that means more money, which is great. Some of our best successes, we have had quite a number of military veterans in our program,
Oh.
and several of them actually, after taking this would be their first college experience. We've had several veterans go ahead and take advantage of the GI Bill, and they're now enrolled full-time at Blue Ridge Community College. One of the best successes we've had, I think, so far, a real milestone, was one thing I've noticed in my many years in IT was it's kind of an uphill battle for women to get into IT. It's been a very male-dominated field,
Mm.
and we've had 30 to 35% of our students have been women, which is awesome. It really is great to have more opportunities for women in the field, and we feel that's a great milestone to see that.
And if I can add on a little bit to what Mr. O'Brien's saying, that one of the things that we've been so proud of is that we're keeping people employed in cybersecurity, and the majority of them are staying in the Valley, living in the Valley, where the cost of living is less expensive than a larger city where you may typically go to get a cybersecurity job. Maybe a silver lining of COVID, that a lot of jobs they're realizing, hey, we can work remotely, and so people can stay here, raise their kids, and make a very decent income.
That's such an important point. Yes, for sure. All of those, from being really accessible and a good route for people in the military, veterans, women, and then also, like you said, the flexibility of where you could have the quality of life of living in the Shenandoah Valley, but work for a company that is in a major metropolitan area. So you really do get the best of both worlds. You might have an influx of students coming once they hear all of these great things, because it really is remarkable the way that this is set up. So I'm always curious to know how people's passion for a certain industry or certain job developed. So Dean Jarbo, we'll start with you, but where does your passion for this kind of work come from?
Absolutely. Love to share my story. So I always knew I wanted to help people. And so when I first went to college, I wanted to be a doctor. And I went to school, and some of the chemistry classes and I didn't get along very well. And so I had to reset and think, what do I really want to do? And my older sister had actually graduated from James Madison University in their computer information systems program. And she and I are very similar. She's about 5 years older than me. So she really loved her job and is still there to this day, working in a company in Northern Virginia. So I graduated with my degree in computer information systems and started out in the corporate world in doing computer help desk work. So kind of worked my way up, and my path led me more into instruction and teaching, and now into administration. But just realizing, being familiar with that technology side of things and knowing how important it is to be able to protect ourselves, not only personally at home when we're online, but also at work.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I think you bring up an excellent point that, I think sometimes we might pigeonhole cybersecurity or technology in such a way that doesn't do justice to just how many people you're actually helping. If you're the person between a disaster at a hospital with their medical records, that's a really, really important job. You're helping a lot of people by doing that, or certainly with the Department of Defense, and the list goes on and on. So I really like, what you said about you started out wanting to help people, and here you are doing that. just in a slightly different way.
Absolutely.
So Dean, what about you?
Well, thanks for asking. And I do want to mention one thing. I guess it's a little bit funny, but you mentioned Milestones. We had to pick up and change all of our courses to virtual March of last year. And my class was literally supposed to start in person the day after we all went home. So as you can see, I'm still here. You see, you got this nice picture of me as I speak. And this is one of the things that we've had to deal with, of course, is bringing everything to Zoom. So I've been working in IT for many years. I've been very fortunate to be able to travel the world, setting up computer networks and doing cybersecurity. I really felt a need to help my country out. So I went ahead and was working with the Department of Justice to help keep the hackers out from all those important networks. But I love teaching, and I was really looking for an opportunity to teach. And when Dean Jarboe and President Downey of the college interviewed me, I thought I found a great home, and it has been really wonderful. Just love the interactions and the ability to share some of my experiences teaching with the students. One other group I want to mention really quickly, and it's been kind of a surprise in a very pleasant way, is we have a lot of students that are recent immigrants from other countries. And the real problem they have is they might have a degree or training from their home country. For example, Roberto is a wonderful young man who all the professors that he learned under speak volumes about how smart he is. He's now working in Harrisonburg. And here you got a guy who has had IT experience and a degree from his home country that just didn't count here. So he had to kind of come back and redo things. He scored almost perfect scores on all the exams in the classes, and now he's got a great job, like I said, in Harrisonburg. So we really welcome folks from all different parts of the world that would like to come and take the class. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. So very interesting how you got into cybersecurity, but then also that's another important point. I know that I have volunteered with that community quite a bit, and you hear lots of stories of people having degrees that do not transfer into this country. So another great path forward for folks that are experiencing that. So thank you for pointing that out. So let's say that a person is listening to this, they're kind of on the fence. They think, well, maybe I could be interested in cybersecurity. I'm not quite sure. What kind of advice would you give to them in terms of next steps? Dean Jarboe, do you want to take that?
Sure. I think one thing to tell people is that if you have good interpersonal skills and you're willing to learn and willing to take constructive criticism, as the process goes on, you are truly a great candidate, for this program. And all you have to do is go to our webpage, www.brcc.edu, and scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see a picture, and you'll see Cybersecurity Apprenticeship. And there's a link there that you can sign up to register.
Okay, perfect. And in terms of registering, is there a certain date you need to register by? Is it a rolling registration? How does that work?
That's a good question. It's a two-part educational process. Once again, it's all online.
Okay.
The first part is self-paced. It's a Google-funded program we have at the college called the Google IT Support Professional Certificate.
Okay.
Students can take that anytime they want. There's a small fixed fee to take that class. And once they get that certification, they'll have the background knowledge needed to start their studies specifically in cybersecurity. Our first class will be starting on Tuesday, the first week of May, and we'll have all the registration information up next week for everyone to go ahead and sign up if they'd like. We're also taking people with backgrounds in IT. For example, if someone has the 2-year information systems technology from the college, or the cybersecurity specialization, or a 4-year degree somewhere, we have approval from the state that they can just take the apprenticeship program and not have to take the Google IT background support class. So we have a lot of different ways for people to get into it. And the webpage has all the information. Once again, an email to cyber@brcc.edu. I'll get right back to you and get on the phone and explain the program.
All right, perfect. So by the end of March, everything will be up with the website in terms of registering and so on and so forth, correct?
Oh yeah, I should probably clarify.
Okay.
If someone goes to the website right now, we have a pre-assessment form
Okay.
that they can simply fill out. All we're looking for is a name and an email and what their IT background is.
Great.
We'll give them a call or send them an email and say, here's how you get into the program. Here's how you do your financial aid. And it's a very easy process as well. They've really made the application process very easy this time.
Perfect. Well, I am just really excited about what is going over at Blue Ridge Community College and at these locations in Waynesboro and Harrisonburg. If you're listening and you are going to be graduating high school, or you're looking for a career change, or you're a veteran, or you're a woman wanting to get into IT, or if you're an immigrant that is looking for a path forward and your degree didn't transfer, this is certainly such a viable and lucrative option. So thank you so much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed talking with both of you.
Thank you.
Just one quick point while I was fiddling with the camera. I don't want to leave out where this apprenticeship program is brand new in the state of Virginia insofar as we're here for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, typically a business could spend months in the application process, and they could spend tens of thousands of dollars per student getting them trained. Our partner, Debbie Hopkins with Aption, she has already done all the work for local businesses to get an apprentice agreement in place. So once employers can connect with us, they simply fill out a quick form, get on a telephone call, and they will get $3,000 cash grant per apprentice they take on with this new program. And the beautiful thing is the training all takes place at Blue Ridge, and it's mostly all paid for by state grants. So we would love to hear from local businesses as well.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So yes, local businesses. I mean, you said $3,000. I'm telling you, the list of how this program works just keeps getting better and better. So that's a wonderful point too. So if you are a local business interested in acquiring some of these apprentice students, or even students that have already trained, get in touch. It's on the website. We'll have all of that for you at the end of the program. So thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And thanks to everyone that has listened to this episode of Waynesboro at Work. We will be back soon with another entrepreneur or business leader that is doing wonderful work in Waynesboro, Virginia. If you want to learn more, please visit growwaynesboro.com or waynesborobusiness.com, and we'll see you again next time.